Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Well, today we're going to be taking a little bit of break from the Falcon and we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. I've got quite a few tools here in the shop that I can use. I have a press, do have a brake, I even have an English wheel. But one of the things I don't have is a bead roller until just recently. And let me show you what I got. One day while perusing Marketplace, I found this, and this is a Jegs performance bead roller. And the way this works is it comes with a handle. The handle slides on here, and as you turn, it turns this lower bar, which then in turns the gears will turn mesh, and it turns this upper bar. And what you do is you have these rollers here on the end, and these rollers, when you slide your metal through, will create a bead, or it can create a flange. And as you tighten this up, this will add tension to it to make the bead deeper, or the flange deeper. So what we're going to do today is, and you can mount this a couple different ways. You can either put this in a vise, or you can go ahead and hard mount it with a couple of bolts, and that's what we're going to do today. Because you got a couple of holes down here at the bottom, so we're going to go ahead and mount it onto an actual platform. So let me show you what we're going to do. Okay, so what I have here is just a platform that I made, and all I did is I just took an old brake drum, an old axle, and a piece of 1/8" plate, welded it all together. So what we're going to do today is I'm actually going to take this here, which is I got a piece of flat stock 1/8" plate, and what I'll do is I'm going to cut it down. We'll bend it onto a 90, drill a couple holes into it. We'll go ahead and mount it to this platform, and so we can mount it to the roller. So let's go ahead and get set up to see what we can do today. Okay, well, so here's our bead roller, and what we want to do is there's a hole here, and there's also a hole right here, and these are for your bolts. So we're going to go ahead and use these two. We'll utilize them so this way we can, mount the roller itself. So what I'm going to do is I come up here to this hole here, this opening here, and this is so when you put your sheet metal in, you can actually go pretty deep into the panel to do any type of bead rolling that you'd want to do. Now, when we measure this, it looks like we're coming up with looks like 3.5 inches to the bottom there. So I don't want to go that low, only because I don't want to interfere with that opening, just in case I need to come in that deep. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut it down a little bit. We'll go to maybe 3 and say 3.25, somewhere around there. The tallness of the plate. So let's go ahead and get a piece of plate, and I'll go ahead and start doing that. Okay, well, here we go. So we got our plate sit here on the table, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to come out. We know we can go 3.5 inches, but I'd like to try to keep it below that. So I think what we're going to do is come here to about 6.25, which is about right there. It doesn't have to be exact, but we'll get it close enough. And we'll take a square. All right. So now, unfortunately, my brake will not bend this. This is a little too thick for my brake. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. Well, let's go ahead and get this cut down real quick. And actually, first thing we're going to do is I think we're going to come down here before we cut this. We're going to come down to the 3.25, which is right here. And draw a line there. That's what we know we got to bend. So, all right. So, sorry, my chickens here in the background. You heard that. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cut, and we'll go ahead and get it bent up. So I am going to go ahead and turn off the mic. This way it doesn't make a bunch of noise. So there we go. So we got it cut down to the size that we want. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bend it. Well, before we do that, like I said, unfortunately, my brake will not bend this. But let me show you a trick, what I do. So on this line right here, what I'm going to do is actually going to go ahead and just scribe a line through there with my cutoff wheel. And what that'll do is make it a little bit thinner. So this way it'll bend it. We can go ahead and bend it to that 90 degree that we want. And we'll go ahead and we can put a quick gusset in it, on it, and make sure that it is nice and strong. Okay. So now we got that there. So that's going to keep us this way. I stay straight and I don't go veering all over the place. So we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and turn the mic back off and we'll go ahead and get this line ground in. All right. So I'll go ahead and get it inside the brake here. Get that all set up. Brake actually works fairly well, considering it. You know, it's an inexpensive one, but it does what I need it to do, which is good. Nice and tight. All right, handle in there. Take our angle finder. All right, let's see what we can do here. Here we go, give you guys a little bit better angle. All right, so right there, it's reading at 87.4. So let's go a little bit more. Let's see here. All right. Go ahead and get my. Oh, it seems to be. It seems like it's getting confused, maybe. So I have a regular analog one. Let me go ahead and grab that one real quick. Let's see what it says. Let's get guys. Okay. Across the bar. The sorry guys, the clamp is right there in the way. I apologize, but yeah, it's right up at the 90, so we're good. And like I said, this is if we need to adjust, we can adjust a little bit. So we'll go ahead and get it out of here. We'll go back over to the table and we'll get it drilled for some holes. Okay, well we're back over here. Here's our platform that we're going to be using. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this plate here for right now. Right about there. I said maybe I'll utilize these holes. I had these holes originally for a vise, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this way I can actually weld under there to get this mounted to here. So we'll do that. So we'll go ahead and turn this a little bit. All right. And we'll take a clamp here. Clamp so it doesn't go anywhere. Sharpie. Hey, one thing, these things are heavy. And now I'm an idiot. I just noticed there was threads in there. Okay, so there we go. So I got a couple of holes drilled in it, and I went ahead and mounted it, but we haven't welded it on yet. So I think what I'm gonna do is I am gonna make a couple of gussets for back there. Just I feel a little bit better with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably just cut out a couple of gussets real quick. All right. So here we are. Here's showing you the back of it now. And I think all I'm gonna do is take some of this stock that I've got. Like that. Put a mark there. So that way we know exactly Go. I'm just going to draw a line from this corner down to there, and we'll go ahead and cut that out. Okay, so I went ahead, draw the line right there, and that's what we're going to cut, so we can make our gusset for that. We'll go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, well, we got it all set up, ready to go. So we're going to go ahead now. I'm going to go ahead and weld that piece in, weld that little gusset in, and let me make it a little bit stronger. All right. This would help. Try to keep it from just not moving on me while I'm trying to weld here. All right. Uh-oh. I think that's my fault. All right. Well, back. Power power is back. So apparently, I can't do a long weld with the AC going. So that's fine. No big deal. It suck, kinda, but it is what it is. We'll just keep on going. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, there's that. And we'll show you how we did. Ta-da! Oop, there we go. Right. Oh, what the hell? Must have been a leaf or something. There we go. So that's done. Actually, some pretty decent welds. I like that. So it looks pretty good. So now we can go ahead and weld that bracket onto our stand. Okay. Well, we got it set up here, and what I'm using is going to throw a couple of tacks in real quick. In there. In there. Ooh, sorry guys. One there. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to unbolt this. Wonder if thing's kind of heavy. Let me go ahead and I've got a wrench right here. There. There. Whew. I got things that need to be strong, but man, they gotta be so freaking heavy. There we go. All right, so there we go. So it is mounted, and you got the went ahead and tighten up the crank. There we go. Just like I said, just needed a single gusset on the one side is all, and not excuse me, not really holding anything incredible, but it's well there. Obviously, not going anywhere. Well's nice and cold now. Let it sit for a little while. They do penetrate. Everything's good there. So now we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. I've never used one before. Seen plenty of guys do it, and but I've never used one. So you're gonna see me use it for the first time here. So all right, let me go ahead and get set up and see what we can do. All right, so here's a piece of metal that we're going to be using. All I did was I just drew a couple lines on there, made a couple rounds with the bottom of a paint can, and so I can mix a couple corners. Now let's go ahead and put it into the bead roller and see how it comes out. Okay, so what I know, what I've seen, or what I've been watching is so your top roller has your bead on it, your bottom roller is what accepts it. So they do have to match. So as more you turn this, the more pressure puts onto the plate and the deeper the groove. So I think what we're going to do for right now is we're going to put it in here. Make sure we're lined up. In the middle as much as possible. Let this bolt come down and touch it. Which there it is. That's where it is touching. I'm going to take this. Now we're going to put some tension on here. I think I've seen guys go like 3-4 times. So I guess we'll just say, let's see, we'll go, I guess we'll go 4. So that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4, give or take. So now we start turning the crank handle. What the crank handle is going to do is it's going to help guide the metal through. All right, maybe we won't go. Maybe we'll ease up a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have went so hard on there the first time. So let's back it off 1 turn and see how that does. All right, there we go. Now, coming up to that turn. And you guys are in the way. Sorry about that. Back you guys up just a little bit there. Alrighty. All right. Back that off. And there we go. And there's your bead. Now this panel just became a lot stronger than what it was just from putting this bead in here. But this is what this does. And you can do different shapes with it. It doesn't have to be circle. It can be X's or squares or just lines through it. No matter what, what's going to happen is, like I said, this is going to strengthen your sheet metal. So especially if you have like a big panel, like if you notice on my trunk when I did the trunk bars, I had there were beads in that pan, and that's what this is for. It's to strengthen it up. Now you can go ahead and this is a lot stronger piece of metal than it was before. All right, guys. Well, no, we didn't get any work done on the car today, but we did get something accomplished. Anytime you need a tool or something like that, if it's packaged, put away, in a package, you can't get to it, you can't use it. That just delays your project even more. So now, when I do need it, I have it. It's up and ready. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me here at Old School's Garage. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time. Old School's Garage saying I'm out of here. Later.